Students, today we will do a new chapter, Taro's Reward from Honeysuckle book. Okay, so let's start the chapter. Taro's Reward. So first of all, children, Taro's Reward is a popular fairy tale in Japan. It is a story. It is a popular fairy tale in Japan. This story involves of a son Taro who wanted to fulfill the wishes of his father. So woodcutter. What is the meaning of woodcutter? A young woodcutter. A person. Woodcutter means a person who earns his livelihood by cut the woods. And what was the name of woodcutter? Taro. So a young woodcutter named Taro lived with his mother and father on a lonely hillside. Lonely means isolated, alone. All day long he chopped. Chopped means cut into pieces. All day long he chopped wood in the forest. Though he worked very hard, but he earned very little money, and this made him very sad, for he was thoughtful son and wanted to give his old parents everything they needed. So Taro lived with his old parents on a lonely hillside. Although he worked very hard, but he earned very little money, and he could not provide his parents everything they needed, and this made him very sad. One evening, when Taro and his parents were sitting in a corner of their hut means their shelter or their house, a strong wind began to blow. It whistled through the cracks of the hut and everyone felt very cold. Suddenly, Taro's father said, I wish I had a cup of sack. It would warm me and do my old hurt good. So first of all, see the children, what is the meaning of whistle through? Whistle through means passed through with a whistle sound. And what is the meaning of cracks? Narrow gaps, yeah, or openings. Okay. So one day it started blowing cold winds. All the people in Taro's house felt cold due to wind passing from the cracks of the wooden house. His father wished if he could have some sack to energize his heart. Okay, sack is a popular and costly Japanese drink. Sack is a popular and costly Japanese drink. This man, this made Taro sadder than ever, for the heart-warming drink called sack was expensive, very expensive. Expensive means very costly. How do I earn more money? He asked himself. Means Taro asked himself that how do I earn more money? How do I get a little sack for my poor old father? He decided to work harder than before. So Taro became very sad as sack was very expensive and he could not buy it for his father. So he decided to work hard. Next morning, Taro jumped out of bed earlier than usual and made his way to the forest. Okay, he chopped and cut as the sun climbed, and soon he was so warm that he had to take off his jacket. His mouth was dry and his face was wet with sweat. My poor old father, he thought, if only he was as warm as I. So next day, Taro woke up early in the morning and went to the forest to chop the woods. Okay, he chopped and cut regularly and cut as the sun climbed. Means he chopped the woods till the sunrise, and soon he was so warm that he had to take off his jacket. Due to warmth, he had to take off. Take off means remove. He had to remove his clothes or jacket. His mouth was dry, means he was very thirsty, and his face was wet with sweat. Sweat क्या होता है बेटा? जो पसीना होता है अपना, ठीक है? तो his mouth was smeared with sweat. My poor old father, he thought, if only he was as warm as I. So he thought that his father must get some delicious sack so that he can get some warmth. And with that, he began to chop even faster, thinking of the extra money he must earn to buy the sack to warm the old man's bones. So he worked very hard so that he can get some delicious sack for his father. Then suddenly, Taro stopped chopping. What was that sound he heard? Could it be possibly be rushing water? Okay, so then suddenly Taro heard the sound of falling water, and as it confused Taro as there was no river here earlier. Okay, Taro saw a beautiful little waterfall hidden behind a rock. kneeling at a place where the water flowed quietly. Quietly means silently, calmly. He cupped a little in his hands and put it to his lips. Was it water or was it sap? He tested it again and again, and always it was the delicious sap. Delicious means tasty sap instead of cold water. So, since he was also thirsty, so he followed the sound of water. Okay, soon he found a waterfall behind the rock. He went near to the fall and put his hand into the water. To his surprise, he discovered that water was not water but delicious sap. Water was not, it was not water but it was a delicious sap. Taro quickly filled the pitcher he had. Pitcher means देखो बेटा a pot usually made of mud यानी मिट्टी से जो एक घड़ा बना होता है, ठीक है. तो Taro quickly filled the pitcher he had with him and hurried home. The old man was delighted. Delighted means happy with the sack. After only one swallow of the liquid, liquid means delicious sack, he stopped shivering means vibrating and did a little dance in the middle of the floor. So Taro became very happy and he filled some sack in his pitchers. His father, after drinking delicious sack, very happy. Okay, Taro's father was very happy after drinking the delicious sack. That afternoon, a neighbor stopped by for a visit. Taro's father politely offered her a cup of sack. The lady drank it greedily and thanked the old man. Then Taro told her the story of the magic waterfall, thanking them for the delicious drink. She left in a hurry by nightfall and she had spread the story throughout the whole village. Okay? So then a neighbor came in evening to the Taro's house. Taro's father offered her a cup of sack. The woman happily took the sack and Taro's father told the woman that about all the incident which happened to Taro. Okay, so Taro's father told the woman about all the incident which happened to Taro. Okay. Then that evening there was a long procession of visitors to the woodcutter's house. Each man heard the story of the waterfall and took a sip of sack. In less than an hour the pitcher was empty. So everybody was coming to the Taro's house and everyone took a sip of the sack. And less than 1 hour, within 1 hour the pitcher was empty. Means the pot of delicious sack was empty. Next morning Taro started for work even earlier than the morning before. He carried with him the largest pitcher he owned, for he intended first of all to go to the waterfall. When he reached it, he found to his great surprise all his neighbors there. They were carrying pitchers, jars, buckets, anything they could find to hold the magic sack, means delicious sack. Then one villager knelt and held his mouth under the waterfall to drink it. He drank again and then shouted angrily, "Water? There is no water." Others also tried, nothing but water. Others also tried, but there was no sack, only cold water. Okay. So next morning Taro again woke up early in the morning and searched the biggest pitcher and went to the waterfall. But to his surprise, he found that other villagers were also going to the fall. Soon all the people reached to the fall and tested the sack, but they found that the water of the fall was not sack but plain water. It was a plain water. "We have been tricked," shouted the villagers. "Where is Taro? Let's drown him in the waterfall." But Taro had been wise enough to slip behind a rock. When he saw how things were going, he was never to be found. So all the people become very angry because there was no delicious sack. It was only plain water. So all the person decided to drown Taro in the fall. But Taro was very clever. Muttering their anger and disappointment, the villagers left the place one by one. Taro came out from his hiding place. Was it true? He wondered. Was the sack a dream? Once more he caught a little liquid in his hand and put it to his lips. It was the same fine sack. To the thoughtful son, the magic waterfall gave the delicious sack. To everyone else, it gave only cold water. So, Taro was very clever. Taro hid behind the rock and waited till the villagers went home. He now tested the water again, but to his surprise, he still felt that it was a sack. The fall was giving Taro a sack, while to other villagers it was giving only plain water. So Taro became very happy. Okay. The story of Taro and his magic waterfall reached the Emperor of Japan. He sent for the young woodcutter and rewarded him with 20 pieces of gold for having been so good and kind. Then he named the most beautiful fountain in the city after Taro. This said the emperor was to encourage all children to honor and obey their parents. Okay, so the story of Taro's care for his parents reached the king. The king became very happy and he awarded Taro 20 pieces of gold to encourage, to motivate him, to motivate other children to take care of their parents. Okay, and he also named the most beautiful fountain in the city after Taro. So this is the story, children. Now, what is the moral of the story? The moral of the story is that we should take care of our parents and our elders. What is the moral of the story? That we should always take care of our parents and elders, because God helps only those persons who takes good care of their parents. Okay, so this is the moral of the story. Okay, thank you, student.